While you were living at Raleigh Place, did your mom have Talvis doing something for her?
She had a friend. He said, he sold drugs. She told Tavis that if we was gonna get a place to stay or needed a place to stay, he was gonna have to help her out. And the only way he could do that was to go with this guy and do what he told him to do. Tavis was like, I don't want to get in trouble. I don't want to get in trouble. And she was like, well, if anything happens, she'll take the rap for it. But he needs to do this for us. So he was serving drugs for her. Her friend guy was giving drugs to slang, to make money. He would give my mom the money, and he would tell Tavis that she'll give him his cut. And they would give him the money, and that's how Tavis would feed us.
Did your mama make Talvis feel guilty if he wanted to quit doing that?
She told him that if he didn't do it, we weren't gonna have nowhere to stay, nothing to eat. But it was up to him, because we didn't know what Marcus was at the time, so it was up to him to take care of the family.
Would you characterize your mom as a stable or an unstable person?
My mom was an unstable person. Through my whole entire life, to her death, she was a very unstable mom.
Was she somebody that you could count on?
Sometimes.
Tell us about your brother Talvis.
Well, my brother, he was a protector. He was a lover. He was great. I was about, if I'm not mistaken, I was about 12 years old, and I was sleeping in my bed. And when I was sleeping in my bed, it was me, my younger sister, and my younger brother. And when I was sleeping, a guy came in and he fondled with me. And when he was fondling with me, I didn't know who he was. And he did bad things to me that he wasn't supposed to do to me. And when he got done doing whatever he was doing to me, he ran out the house. When he ran out the house, I went to go knock on my mom's door to alert her that, hey, this has happened to me. And she didn't get up. She didn't get up to open the door. And at that time, I was so shook up. Tavis was sleeping in the living room. And when he was sleeping in the living room, I went in there to wake him up. And as I woke him up, he was upset, and he was like, what's wrong? What's going on? And I told him the situation. And when I told him the situation, he got up immediately, and he asked me, he said, did you tell Mom? And I told him, I haven't got a chance to tell Mom because she didn't get up. And he got up, and he banged on the door as like he was gonna kick it down to wake my mom up and to alert her, hey Mom, this is what's going on, and you need to get up, and we need to do something about this.
From that point forward, were you walking back and forth to school at that time?
And Tavis would walk back and forth to make sure I would get to school and nothing would happen to me.
When did you first get to know your brother Letalvis?
Well, I really got to know him when I was like 6. That's when I really was, starting to know that he's my brother. But I really started bonding with him when I was like 8.
Now, you've had a baby at a young age yourself, haven't you?
Mm-hmm.
How old were you when you had your first baby?
14.
Did Talvis help you out with your children?
Yes, sir.
Tell the jury how he did that.
Well, when I used to go to school, he had to babysit sometimes when my mom used to run out. He took good care of her while I was at school.
Was your brother Letalvis protective of you?
Mm-hmm. He was very protective over me.
You love your brother Letalvis, right?
Yes, I do.
And if this jury gives him the opportunity to spend the rest of his life in prison, will you promise them you'll be a part of his life?
Yes.
And will he be a beneficial part of your life, even if he's in prison?
Yes, to be able to see his nieces and nephew.
Do you remember when you first heard about this case, did it surprise you that LaMarcus was involved in it?
It didn't shock me. It shocked me that Tavis, I was like, no, not Tavis. Can't make me believe it was Tavis. It's like, if Tavis was involved, he must have been on something, because not Tavis. You just couldn't pay me to believe it. But when I look at him, I see fun, loving, friendly. I don't see that. And I'm asking you to please have mercy on him. Please. I know what he did was wrong, but I love him no less.
Okay. Sorry, Ms. Young?
Yes.
As you were growing up, you and Mr. Cobbins were able to spend time together.
Yes.
You were able to graduate high school,
Yes.
go on to college,
Yes.
graduate college, and you're now pursuing your master's degree.
Yes.
You are a very positive role model,
I would think so, yes.
and you spent time with Mr. Cobbins.
Yes.
When Mr. Cobbins was living in Kentucky, did you spend any time with him when he was in Kentucky?
No.
You didn't visit him while he was in Kentucky?
No.
When is the last time that you've seen Mr. Cobbins?
The last time while he was out of jail,
Yes, ma'am.
I really can't recall. I've seen him, but I really don't know. I think when he came back from Kentucky. No, not from Kentucky, from New York.
New York.
But I'm not sure.
And so, Mr. Cobbins, you said, is around your same age. He's 26.
26.
He's 26 right now. So is it fair to say maybe in the last 8 years you've not really seen Mr. Cobbins?
Not that much.
The last time I saw Letalvis was about 2004, 2005.
And what were the circumstances? Where was it that you saw him?
I picked him up, he called me and I picked him up from a homeless shelter in Memphis. I took him to my house. He stayed in my house maybe about a week. He was trying to go to Job Corps. So he stayed in my house a couple of days. Before I took him back to the shelter, I took him to get something to eat and I put some money in his pocket. That was the last time I saw him.
Have you spoken with Tommy Cobbins recently about Letalvis' situation in this case?
Yes,
Did you tell him that you and other family members were coming to Knoxville to be here
Yes.
today for Letalvis?
yes.
And what was his response to you about his involvement?
He told me not to call anymore. He didn't want to have anything to do with the case. And he told me if I would call him again regarding the situation, I would wish I hadn't called.
I mean, what was your opinion of Talvis when he was a little boy?
Tavis, sweet little boy. He always had energy, smiling all the time. Just a lovely person, a lovely child.
Was there anybody in your judgment that was a stable influence in Letalvis' life after Aunt Rose passed away?
No,
Do you believe that Tommy Cobbins ever properly accepted a parental role with Letalvis?
not saying that he didn't try, but he didn't do what he was supposed to do as a father. When I first heard about this, that's when I started thinking, I believe because I love children. Now, children, neighbors, they back and forth to our house and all that. And then as I started thinking, I'm like, okay, if I got this much passion for other people's children, why I couldn't have done this for my own cousin? And not just me, other family members are saying the same thing. And we failed. I would like to say to the victim's family, we are truly sorry. We do have compassion for you all. We're sorry that it happened. We really are sorry. And we're just asking you all to have compassion on Tavis and not to kill him. We love Tavis. He means a lot to us. We have not played the role that we should have in Tavis' life. And we're just asking you all to not to kill him.